ain't nothing but a hound dog. You're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. It was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. They've been going in and out of style, but the guaranteed to raise a smile. Slow ride. Take it easy. She was a fast machine. She cocked the motor clean. She was the best damn woman that I ever seen. She had the sightless eyes telling me. Times I can reminisce all the best things of loving with a sister and a cousin. Only started with a little kiss like this. Hey, hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Turn it up.
No,
What?
because I told you I was generations
Then
behind.
I want to know what you had to say about it then. Come on.
I was generations behind.
This is an awesome song, by the way.
All right, just turn that off a minute. When I was growing up in middle school, all right, and you're talking 1970 something for me for middle school.
1970 something.
That's right. That's a good song. You know.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Now, they did these polls for the yearbook, like what's your favorite band, what's your favorite music. Every time I'd answer those questions, every year I would answer those questions, it wasn't the thing that was in at the time.
What
You
was
know,
it?
It was like yesterday's music, like, you know, one
Oh,
time I
so-
was like doing
so
Casey
basically
and,
you'd be like
one
Casey
time
and
I
the
said,
Sunshine Band.
right, Casey and the Sunshine
Or,
Band or
the
Bee Gees or
Thunderbirds
something
or the Bee
like that.
Gees or
'Cause
Mamas and the Papas.
I was still listening to disco music and people were moved on from that already. But see, at the same
Well,
time,
everybody
I was
has
still,
their own taste.
At the same time, I was still going to the roller rinks,
But you gotta
which is
think
where
though,
they were playing a lot of that disco music
Okay.
too.
You were born in 60 something. I was born in 60 something.
Bite your tongue.
All right.
I'm only 21. I was only born 20 something.
And when
years
we were
ago.
growing up, as we were growing up, we had certain kinds of music.
You know,
Mine, I loved the old stuff.
what was
I
your
really
first-
do.
What was your first?
I like the Thunderbirds.
All right,
I
let's
like
go
the Mamas and the Papas.
Let's
I
go
like
back. All right.
stuff like that.
How about
the Bee Gees and
how about
and all that stuff. That is good
All
era
right,
music.
now here's
That
a
is
question.
that is rock
Here's a
music
question for you.
from the Vietnam era.
all right? Here's a good
But
question for you.
I also liked early rock and roll.
Here's a good question for you. When you were growing up, what was the
I never grew
first song you remember hearing because your mom or dad was playing it on their stereo in the house?
Mom and Dad never really played stereo in their house.
They never played the music?
Not a lot of it.
Oh, you were lucky. You were a fortunate kid then, huh?
Nope.
You know what? I had a mother that
I
used
had
to.
my own
Now
own
remember-
radio.
My dad,
Real
he
stereo.
played music on the road trips in the cars all the time. Okay, he'd
Yeah.
have, just to show my age, he'd have 8 tracks.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we had 8 tracks as well.
Now, the one song I remember from that time, there's actually 2. My dad I had 2. I think he decided to destroy them because after a while, they kind of disappeared from the van. Okay, and one was Dr. Hook.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
hell
know,
yeah, I love
and
Dr.
and it
Hook.
was
Dr.
like
Hook
the
was good.
greatest hits because it had
Cover
Sylvia's
of the Rolling Stones.
Cover of the Rolling Stones, Sylvia's
was
Mother,
their-
Sharing the Night Together. It
Yeah,
had all
no.
the number 1 hits, or all their greatest hits.
Dr. Hook, their most famous one
was Cover of the
was
Rolling
Cover
Stones.
of the Rolling Stone.
Right. Now, then there was another 8-track there, and the band, the group name on there was Wild Cherry. You know what they played? Play that funky music, white boy. All right.
Yeah, Wild
Now
Cherry.
those were my first influences on my dad's side. All right. Now we go to my mom, who I had to sing this music, mind you.
So
It wasn't the greatest pleasantry on the ears, by the way. Anyway, there was one song that stuck out that it was kind of a funny song, but you know, it goes to show you music. People play music based on their moods. Okay, a lot, especially women. Okay. My mom had a problem with marrying alcoholics and being with alcoholics. So, you know where this is going, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, this one song got overplayed, and to this day, it still gets stuck in my head to the point where I can mimic that song pretty good of what it would look like if it was a video. And it was called Here Comes the Elephants. I gave up drinking. Now, if you look that song up, I bet that goes back to like the 40s or the 50s. Okay. Now, that song got played a lot because of the alcoholics in the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my major first musical influence from my mother was the king of rock and roll.
Elvis Presley.
All right.
And
And
everybody knows when you say the king of rock and roll, everybody knows Elvis.
after
Yeah,
I
so
heard
that-
some of Elvis's early works, you know, because of growing up in the 70s, you know, so some of that stuff was like the real raw, you know, Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel, and it was all on 45s, again to show my age, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got so into Elvis as a little kid that we built, and I'm not kidding you, we built fake little microphone stands out of like these like 1x2s, and they were all the sliver sticks, you know, that you know, we duct taped them together and, you know, tried to steal what we could out of the toolbox, the screws, and get them together and perform little fake concerts, lip syncing Elvis, you know, me and a couple other buddies of mine, because it was a big thing back then, you know. But that was my earlier influence. But I listened to all kinds of stuff, a lot that you don't. I'm sure.
Well, no, you probably did listen to stuff I didn't listen to. But see, what I had
I
growing
had some
up,
strange parents when it came to music.
I kind of had to listen to this stuff in the car, you know. Yeah,
Yeah, we all did.
always.
And
And mom would
back
always
then-
play. Mom was always into more of the modern stuff of that era, of that
back
time.
then there was no FM radio really.
Mhm. A lot of it was AM. There was very little.
FM radio
FM.
stations.
Here's a better part one. How often was it that you were subjected to Lawrence Welk?
Oh hell, never.
Well,
Liberace.
Well, sir, my mom and dad would watch Lawrence Welk all the fucking time.
Oh fuck that.
So if I wanted to watch anything at night, if it wasn't some sort of soap opera.
I mean, I like classical music, but
All right, like one of the first soap operas that came out at night, it came on at night, and it was in black and white, and it had nothing to do with real life stuff. It was called Dark Shadows.
no, I don't really.
My mom got into that one.
I don't think that was on around here.
It was on nationwide,
I don't.
and it was and you know, if I wanted to watch anything at that time of night, I had to watch
But
that.
I do remember hearing about the Lawrence Welk show.
Oh yeah, Lawrence Welk.
But we
And
didn't get to
Dark
stay up.
Shadows.
We didn't get to stay up late much. But we also had. I also kind of got spoiled too, because my dad, you know, being an alcoholic that he was, kind of had a guilty conscience. So, you know, we got things for Christmas that most kids didn't have. You know, we
I was
lived in
always
this
spoiled.
neighborhood, and my brother and I had, you know, little black and white TVs in our room at the time. You know, so.
Well,
We didn't have to always
see-
watch what the parents were
see,
watching,
you had-
but we also
you-
had to
you
have
had
the
that
TVs
little
out by
black
10 o'clock at night
Yeah,
too.
but you had that little black and white TV. I didn't.
But we didn't have, nobody had cable either back then. You only had 4 fucking channels of food.
No, you had
choose from.
you had the big fucking antenna that you had to twist and turn and get channels in. And where we lived out in the country,
But now
so
we're
we were
going off-
right between two
Now
towns.
we're going off. Now we're getting into TV. Let's just
Well,
stay
no,
on topic.
okay,
we gotta
and,
go to
and
music.
music.
All right.
So, well,
But I was part
I
of the
eventually,
disco era.
yeah.
I
Yeah, well,
enjoyed
yeah,
a lot of that
I-
music
I
and a
had
lot of the
listened to the
movies
disco.
that were out about that.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, Staying Alive.
Staying Alive.
You know.
You know, stuff like that.
You know, I mean, you know, and then Disco Duck. Howard the Duck was kind of, I think.
Not Howard the Duck.
No, but I think he was kind of. They did a different version of Disco Duck in that movie.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was at a disco or something, but it was a good movie. But that movie was out in the 80s.
When people send me my particular thing that my mom kept for quite a while, and I get it, and we're doing this show, I'll treat y'all to something that you haven't seen in a long ass time.
But I'll tell you, there was a lot of good music.
It'll be a surprise. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but
I think there was a lot of good music.
there
And
was a lot of good music.
the problem with the music, though, nowadays.
Oh, and my parents had this big fucking console type
Oh, I remember
record
those.
player.
We had the record
It
player.
was a
on
record
this
player
side.
with the 8-track.
Yeah.
And hang on, this thing had all three. Had the vinyl player, okay, and it would play.
Should we get
it
a
would play
vinyl
the
out so
33s.
in case some of these viewers don't know what vinyl
Well,
is?
the viewers
I mean,
nowadays should know what vinyls are because vinyls have been back in circulation for the last 10 years.
I've had some young
So-
generation kids right here, and they didn't
like,
know
what
what
are
fucking
vinyl?
vinyl
What's a
or
vinyl?
what's an album.
Well, what's an album? But now this console that they had.
That was before cassette tapes. Oh, and cassette tapes were before CDs.
Well, you want to go on?
And before the albums, we had 8-tracks.
No, 8-tracks were after the album.
Well, whatever, but those were the things that you couldn't listen to an album in your fucking car.
No.
If you were going to skip all the time. Every time
But
you
they
hit a
did
bump.
make those.
Yeah, I
They
know,
did make the-
I know.
They did
I
make
was
the
just gonna
miniature
say
players with the singles
that.
that were mountable and put in cars.
The first
Now the thing
CD
is,
player in the car.
Yeah, exactly. The first disc
Disc
player.
in the car.
But the thing is, though, you know, so they
God,
had this.
you're
They
old.
had this huge.
I only
fucking
remember
console.
that from
Shut
watching
up.
the History
You
Channel.
lying piece of shit. But this had all three. It had the record player. Actually, all four. Okay, it had the record player. It had the stereo
Back to the
tuner.
console thing now.
This is the console. Had the stereo tuner,
Did
so
it,
you had
one
your
of the ones that had the
stereos.
TV in there too?
Nope,
Oh.
no television. This was strictly
Oh, but it had the
audio.
it had the thing where you had to actually tune everything real
Mhm.
fine. Oh yeah, and was it the one that kind of had the thing where it kind of went across this because it was on like a little cable thing in
Yep.
the back?
They had that
You ever
needle
take
that went
apart
back
the-
and forth like
You ever
this.
take
Yes,
apart those old radios
yes,
like
those
that?
things are funny. And it had the 8-track, and it had a cassette player in it.
Oh, we never got the cassette player. In
Well,
our
this
house
one-
right
this
away.
one
It was
had
8-track
all
for
of
the
it in
longest
there.
time.
Except for the television. There was no television in this.
Mine
And
had a television.
You want to
in
hear
ours.
something even really more fucked up and funny?
But the televisions had the old tubes in them too back then.
That when my daughter and son-in-law went back to California because Jeanette, my oldest sister, dipshit, is yeah. If she says this, I don't care.
Dipshit.
They basically they got rid of Dad's house because they're moving Dad to Oklahoma with them,
Right, you told me that.
and that console was still in that house.
Really? Wow, that's
And
an
it still
antique
worked.
for you.
And it still worked.
Oh wait, you're an antique too,
You could
aren't
plug it in. You could plug it in, and it still worked. It
Really?
would pick up.
Well, some of that old shit was built to last
It
for
would pick
fucking
up the
ever.
stereo. It would pick up the FM channels, the AM channels. You could put a fucking cassette in the cassette player, and it would play. Not sure about the 8-track because we didn't have any 8-tracks left out there. But
What
and
about
then you
the
could
phonograph?
take the fucking record and put it on there and lay that bitch down, and it would
Needle was
sound
so
a
good.
little rough because
Needle
the needle was
probably
needed,
needed
yeah,
to be replaced. Yeah.
but it would still play.
Try to find a needle nowadays, though.
You
That
can't.
might- yeah, but for an old console like
can't.
that, might be hard.
No, you can't because when they brought back the
How
record
about
players,
Did you ever have one of
They
the record
used
players
the
that was in a
old-
suitcase? That was like a
Yes.
suitcase.
yes,
Did you?
yes,
And the speaker was built in a little speaker.
speakers on the side.
About this big, you know.
Yep. Yes,
Oh, I had one of those.
yes, we had those too. We
Oh,
had one
yeah.
of those too.
I wore out I don't know how many Elvis 45s on that motherfucker. I did.
But you know, it is just as we grew older, you know, I got my own room when finally everybody but me moved out. I finally got my own room. I had my own stereo system. I bought a freaking nice stereo system.
I loved the stereo systems back then.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the
Oh,
nowadays,
God,
man,
dude.
they suck.
The
The
shit
ones you
now,
can find in
you're
Walmart
lucky.
and stuff like that,
The
they
shit
suck.
now,
They're all
you're
one
lucky
piece.
if it
They're all
works.
one piece pieces
Yeah.
of shit. There was a picture that came across, I shit you not, it came across my Facebook page and I commented on it. And I don't know, and I wonder if it's
I've
still
got one
there.
that's about 20 years old.
I'll tell you, it looks
you know
almost
that?
identical. I gotta show you this.
My tuner that I have my speakers for, it's about 20 something years old.
Yeah.
Approximately 20 years old.
Yeah,
It's
and
an old
the
technique.
speakers,
And
some
it
of those
still works.
speakers were built to last for fucking ever too if you took care of them.
Oh yeah, oh hell yeah. But so when I got my own stereo,
Wrong one.
I'd listen to whatever I damn well wanted to.
Oh yeah.
And my favorites, man, I loved Aerosmith and Warrant and Whitesnake and
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard. Oh, it's Leonard Skinner and
AC/DC.
Oh, AC/DC rock. Metallica was really good too.
I wasn't much of a Metallica fan. See, I didn't get into the heavy metal that much. That was.
And then, well, I was into pretty much all of it. I love the easy listening stuff. I love the old stuff, and the big hair bands.
My
Big hair bands were cool.
My biggest thing was if the music was louder than the vocal part of it, you know, the words, and I couldn't hear the words over the music, I didn't like it. And, it didn't have a good story to it. It was always like, here's one for you. Here's a perfect example of a song, and I'll tell you why this guy. There's the stereo I had. That's what my stereo looked like, and I actually had a cabinet like that with the albums and everything underneath. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 components to it.
Yeah.
You know, because you have you got the
Yeah.
equalizer there. That top piece there that you see
Well, my first
is a turntable. Then you got a dual cassette. Well, mine was a dual cassette deck. This doesn't look like
That's
a
a
dual
single.
cassette deck. Then you had, what was this? This was another, like a booster here, a bass booster probably. This is a compact disc player. I didn't have one of those. But I had a big, this was probably the radio tuner down here, AM,
Yeah,
FM
that's your tuner.
But see, I had that, but I had a bigger equalizer. My equalizer was almost as thick as this.
Okay.
I had 5 pieces or 4 pieces. Yeah, 5 pieces with the
Well,
turntable.
I had my.
But it was all in a
original
glass case like that with glass doors.
My original first one was a Technics, and the one I have now is a Technics,
Mine was Sony, I think. Or,
made by
wait, no.
Panasonic. Now, mine I had.
Oh,
I
I know
had the tuner.
I
had
know
the
what this
radio
piece
tuner.
was. Hold on, I know what this one piece was. This was a digital clock, if I'm not mistaken, because some of them came with digital clocks, so you could set your stereo to have it be an alarm clock. But mine had this function in it, and I don't know how many people remember these, and I wish I could remember what this. It almost sounds like when you got the noon whistle go off.
Mm.
Okay, but think about that being right in your fucking
Oh, yeah.
bedroom, and you
Oh, yeah.
can't adjust the volume
And
because it only had one, and it only
that was
had
your alarm clock.
and it only had one fucking volume on it. No matter, and it was loud, like super loud, because you could adjust the volume dial, and it didn't do shit to the alarm clock part of it,
But
unless you adjusted
I
it
had-
to go to the radio.
I had a Technics tuner. I had the Technics equalizer, and I had a dual cassette deck. I didn't get the turntable because I wasn't into the vinyls at the time. I was
Oh.
more into the cassettes, and I was actually making my own mixtapes by taking and playing the music here, and then recording here, and then I'd
Yeah, do
put
that.
another one in and
I
play
used to
that,
record
play
it
that
off the
song, and
radio.
record it, and then I'd record
Recorded
off the radio and
a
everything.
lot. Yep.
You know, but I also got to the point where I built my own damn speakers.
I did that a few
I
times.
built a set of speakers that were probably 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
It was a pair. It was a 15, 2 pairs of mids in each speaker. There was a pair of mids in each speaker.
I miss that stereo.
And a tweeter horn.
I miss stereos like that.
I found out something in those old stereos. I found a way of boosting the output to where I almost blew the fucking thing up.
Well, you know,
You know how I
still
did
miss
it?
those.
You know how I did it? Okay, your tuner was your amplifier. Okay? And then you'd run that through the equalizer and out to the speakers. Well, I figured a way of taking my tuner, running it through the equalizer, which boosted it even more and cleared up,
Yeah.
your sound, and then ran it back through the tuner and then out into the speakers.
Well, they were all pretty good back then, those.
And I literally had those speakers I built. I literally had them walking
All right.
across the floor from the bass.
Listen to this. So, you know, stereos like that back then, you didn't really have to do that to get good quality sounds because the speakers and the, you know, they usually match the stereo output. And, you know, most of them speakers were like this tall anyways in the wooden cabinets that were
Yeah, but I built my own.
But I'm trying to make a point here. Today, I go to Wally World, I buy an all one-piece stereo system, right? And it's got these detachable speaker things because that's all you can find. You can't find these like this.
You're talking about
anymore.
boombox?
No, not a boombox, an actual
You
stereo.
can
that-
no, you can find these.
Very rarely.
Best Buy has this. Best Buy has
Well, they must.
the
I
separate
haven't seen.
components.
I haven't seen some of that in a long time. But anyway,
Best Buy has
yeah,
the
you
separate
gotta be it in
components.
separate components.
But here's the
before,
thing with
back
most of
in
these
my day,
damn
you could buy
speakers
that
in the-
whole thing as one
in the
set.
surround systems
You could
that
buy
you
this
buy.
whole thing as
Yeah.
one set back in my day. But the point I'm trying to make is these stereos. All right. Even at their lowest settings, like volume settings, they put out a higher quality and a louder sound than the shit they make today. Because some of
Yeah,
the speakers
actually they
and
do.
some of the shit they make today is so fucking cheap crap that it's
But-
ridiculous. That's why I miss my old stereos like this.
You don't find very many of the tall speakers anymore,
No.
unless they're used
Yeah, you have to go to like a pawn shop.
or well, Best Buy does have some, but they're not made. You know, they're not made by the companies that we're used to, like Cerna Vegas or Piles or
Pioneer.
Infinity or Pioneer or Sony
Bosey.
or Rockford Fosgate. Well, Fosgates were mostly Fosgates were mostly car stereos.
So was
The
Bosey.
MTX.
Yeah.
MTX, remember MTX?
Yeah, that's what
They
I
made
had.
one of the higher qualities
I had a few of
systems
those.
or speakers, and they were really good.
Because I added speakers. Because back then, you know,
Mhm.
you could add speakers to your system.
But you go now, you go into
They weren't
a
the
Best
RF
Buy now
plugs
or
either.
a Walmart or somewhere like that, and you try to get a surround system, you're going to wind up with
shitty speakers.
a box with everything pretty much in that single component for you, and your speakers. You're going to have a center speaker that's going to be mediocre, and you're going to have 4 speakers to hook up around the sides, and they're not the big towers, they're little fuckers.
All right. So our point is on this one is advancements in technology isn't always good, especially when
No.
it comes to music.
The old school stuff is the best. Now,
Oh yeah.
now with the musics and everything, you can't get the quality of music that you
I wish I could
They
remember
used
some of
to
those really
in a
high
C-
end.
you know, you can't get the
fucking
quality in a
name brand
CD like you
stereos
used to
back
in
then.
the vinyls. Vinyls had some damn good quality to them.
Oh, I loved listening.
Lot of
to
good bass.
I loved listening to vinyls.
And if you had a good,
What was your first vinyl album? Do you remember? I know what mine was. The first one I bought with my own money.
the
Earned
first
by
one
my
I
own
bought
money.
with my own money,
The first one you bought with your own money that you earned.
I didn't. Not vinyl. It was cassettes.
Oh. Well, see, you suck.
But I had vinyls bought for me. My mom
You
and
wanna know what
dad
my
bought
first one
stuff
was that I bought for
and they had-
myself?
for themselves.
You want to know what my first one was bought for that I bought for myself for the first time?
What's that?
Glass Houses. Billy Joel, Glass Houses.
Which is a good one.
Oh yeah, all the music off
Billy
that
Joel.
one was really good.
You know, and that's another one too. Okay,
Billy
here,
Joel, the
here I
Piano
was,
Man.
Here I was with
Elton John, the Rocket Man.
listing off all these rock groups. But yes, you had Billy Joel, you had Elton John,
Tina Turner.
you had Tina Turner, you had
A lot of Motown
Wham,
sound. See, I was into
Remember Wham,
Motown too, believe it or
Hall
not.
and Oates,
Hall and Oates, yeah.
Paula
Private Eyes was a
Abdul.
big thing.
Paula Abdul.
Opposites Attract, that was a big
Yep.
thing. Remember when MTV first hit? Oh my God.
MTV was a very.
1980.
I liked it.
What was it?
I liked
84.
MTV.
It was 84 or 85 that they debuted, and I'll never forget that day. Oh my
I think
God.
it was 84.
Yeah, it was one of those years, 84 or 85. I was still in high school, my senior year. And when that happened, oh my God, parachute pants came out everywhere, and break dancing was all over the place. Now that was another thing, break dancing. Did you ever get into that? That was popular. Speaking
Yes,
of music,
actually I did. And that's when skateboarding started coming around
I
too.
was a skateboarder, not so much of a break dancer, but I did wear the
I did,
clothes for a while.
Oh, MTV original broadcast 8/1 of 1981.
81.
1981.
I thought it was later than that. Well, I knew it was the 80s, but I was around. I mean, I remember watching it when they first aired. I Want My MTV, and then all of that.
Well, my
And then
MTV, Dire Straits,
And then all the old
Max
rock-
Headroom.
Yeah, Max Headroom. Oh my God! And then all of the funky ways they would come and go to the commercials with the MTV logo.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Yeah.
kind of cool as hell.
Their
too.
main logo was the spaceman walking on the moon.
And
with
then
the
later,
MTV
because
flag.
I was so hooked on watching MTV for so many years, when I hit adulthood,
You know, another thing though. Now I was telling you that.
MTV spawned. Let's see.
That's
A show that.
Beavis and
Let's see.
Butthead.
Here's a show you would like. Eon Flux.
That
Did
one
I
I
pronounce
liked.
that right?
Yes, Eon Flux.
That's the one you like.
And I watched
like
that
Beavis
all
and
the time.
Me, I was a Beavis
That
and
was
Butthead
part of
fan.
Liquid Television.
Yeah.
Now, here's another little tidbit. Liquid Television was the original Adult Swim.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. It was. You're not lying there.
No, I'm not lying. Liquid Television
Oh, and
from MTV
how
was
about-
the original Adult Swim.
how about we can't forget Joan Jett,
Oh God,
Pat
yes, Joan
Benatar?
Jett, Pat Benatar, the Runaways.
Bonnie.
Remember the Runaways?
What was her name? Bonnie
Bonnie
Tyler.
Bonnie Tyler.
Total
Yeah,
Eclipse
Bonnie
of the
Tyler.
Heart. You know, and then you
Uh,
had Wilson Phillips.
Heart.
Heart. Oh my God, I remember seeing
And
them
they,
in concert.
They were awesome, man.
Rod
I
Stewart.
loved them. Rod Stewart was funny.
And then you had,
goofy
and when you
fuck.
talk to easily listening and mellow music, well, then there was the likes of Barry Manilow,
Yeah.
you know, Ronnie Millsap,
Yeah.
you know, you had all kinds of old country I used to listen to.
Well,
Today's country,
That's not easy. That's
I know, but then
it's
you got,
country.
and then you got
And
today's
if you wanna
country.
get into
Air
Kentucky-
Supply was easy listening.
Yes. Here's one for you. Who changed their name 3 times? They started out.
Oh,
as
Jefferson Starship, right?
Well, they started out as Jefferson Airplane,
Yeah. Then it was Jefferson.
and they're the ones that sang the song "We Built This City"
We built this city for rock. Yeah.
on rock and roll.
Yeah.
And they were talking about
and
at
then,
that time they were talking about San Francisco.
And then didn't they go to?
Then they became
there
Jefferson
was
Starship.
and then it just went
Now it's
Starship.
Starship.
Yeah.
Period. Can't forget Journey when we're talking about
Or
these guys,
Kiss.
too. Kiss.
REO
Kiss.
Speedwagon.
Kiss and the Kiss Army.
Yeah. Knights in
REO
Service of Satan. That's
Yep.
supposedly what it was supposed to stand
Yeah,
for.
I know. And then
According
you got
to some of your religious fucks out there.
God, don't get me going on religion.
No, we don't want that.
I'll piss more people off than anything.
Yeah, the Kiss Army. I was part of the Kiss Army. Man, I actually had one
I
of
love
those.
Kiss.
I
Kiss
actually
was
had
awesome,
one of those sergeant stripes.
AC/DC.
I
Did
actually
we mention AC/DC?
yes, but I actually had one of those sergeant stripes for my shirt that said Kiss Army on it.
Nice.
You know, and a Kiss Army poster in my bedroom.
Then you had then the Eurythmics.
Oh, and what? Devo,
Anti-Limits.
Whip It.
Oh God, Devo was a fucking joke.
Commodores,
Commodores.
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. You had Roxette. Remember Roxette? They're the ones
Total.
that did Joyride.
Yeah, and then you had Toto that did
Kansas.
Roxanne. Kansas. Oh, Carry On, Wayward Son.
And then
That
you
was
had
like an
Dust
awesome
in the
fucking.
Wind.
Yeah, but my favorite was Carry On, Wayward Son. That was like a really cool song. You know, and then you can't forget the likes of like, you know, when you're talking like that. And then we got we had Journey.
Yeah.
with Open Arms and all those love ballads that they
Oh,
did.
God.
Oh my God, you know how many times I got laid because of Journey and REO Speedwagon and some of their songs? Or even Air Supply.
Air Supply,
And people
yeah.
would make fun of me because I'm listening to Air Supply, but you know what? I tell you
Chicks
what,
dug it, man.
the chicks, yeah, that's
Chicks
just
dug
it. That's just it. AC/DC. There was always the argument. This is the one I like.
Oh, the AC/DC songs can blow the women's clothes off.
The AC/DC, yeah.
Hell's Bells.
My favorite was You
those-
Shook Me All Night Long.
Yeah. Shook me all night long.
But now
And
here's
don't
the
forget
thing.
Aerosmith. I mean,
We didn't
Aerosmith's
forget
another one in there.
Aerosmith, but I got a point to make about AC/DC because this was the one band that always had the famous arguments among their fans. Who was better, Bon Scott or Brian Johnson?
You know,
Where do
both
you
of them-
stand?
Both of them were really good, but I know of more songs that Brian Johnson did because he was with the band longer.
I know, but that was unfortunate on their part. Go grab
Yeah.
it. You can walk through.
Just walk through.
Just walk through.
Go, grab it.
So what? It's an unedited show. It's probably a kid. They're not
It's
going to stop
unedited.
calling.
We don't give a shit. It's not
It's
going to bother
8:30
us
at night on
none.
a Saturday.
Take your earphones out.
But you know, where I stand on it, all right, I got the liberty when I first started listening to AC/DC. That was one of the first. I was still in the disco phase and all of this in the 70s and stuff like this. So Brian Johnson, when I first started listening to AC/DC, Brian Johnson didn't exist yet.
Well,
Okay. So I
I,
got the opportunity.
I did hear him when Bon Scott was
Right.
part of the group.
Well, I got a chance to listen to him quite a bit because it was a big thing when I went to this one place to visit. That's what we did, you know, and I feel that the band, because of the way they got Brian Johnson and recruited Brian Johnson after Bon Scott passed away, I think they did the perfect thing by bringing Brian Johnson into the mix because he was a fan and he was doing cover bands. And the thing was, he sounded so much like Bon Scott that it was hard to tell the difference. The biggest difference is Brian Johnson had so much more energy. That's what made him so much bigger.
yeah, well, he did. He
Besides
had a lot of
being
energy.
with a band for much longer, but that's
you wanna
neither
know
here nor
something?
there.
I still love AC/DC.
My favorite was Brian Johnson, but what they did now and what they're doing now,
Now
is-
listen,
is a disgrace.
that's what I said. I still love AC/DC. I still
Hey.
love their songs. I like what they're doing.
but
But
What
they
they did
should
now-
not have gotten Axl Rose to fucking
they
be
should have
their
just
front man.
retired.
Either
and
that,
call it
or they
quits.
should have got Jim Brewer. Talk Jim Brewer. To
Yeah,
come in there
I
and
forgot
fucking
about
sing for 'em.
Jim Brewer, one of my favorite comedians of all time. Yes, because he did that thing on Saturday Night Live and then on his stand-up acts about AC/DC, and it's like, yeah, Brian John, and oh my God, if you weren't seeing the video or watching it, you would think you would have almost been hearing Brian Johnson, but he was doing it as an improv stand-up act, so you know you had just that little backup band. But if you had AC/DC there with him, yeah, he would
Yes.
rock the fucking house down.
Oh fuck yeah! Because he can imitate Brian Johnson so well.
But he wouldn't have to. I mean, if he just can do the voice and be himself, I bet it would just fucking rock because he's a
Yeah.
fan. Like
Yeah.
Brian Johnson was. They got a major fucking fan that worshipped that
Yes,
group.
they did.
You know, getting Axl fucking Rose to step in.
And you know, and I'm
Come
gonna
on,
tell you,
I'm
okay,
surprised they sold tickets.
I will
to
tell you
the
this.
truth.
Okay, I like Guns N' Roses. I liked the music.
Oh, I
they
like Guns
produced.
N' Roses too, and like I said, there's an old
and
story.
they
I told you
produced,
this
they
about
produced
1,000
the
times.
music. Okay, the music
Every
they
rose,
produced.
isn't it? Every rose has
Uh-uh.
a thorn. No,
No, that was
Poison.
Every Rose Has a Thorn, and yeah, it was either
it Poison
it was
or
a
was it
Poison
Guns N'
or
Roses?
Bon Jovi.
No, it wasn't Bon Jovi. It was either Poison or Guns N' Roses.
No, Guns N' Roses did not do Every Rose Has a Thorn.
Well, I'm gonna look it up. You keep
Guns
talking.
N' Roses, their most famous one
I think it was
Welcome
Poison.
to the Jungle. And then,
They had a ballad that I really liked.
yeah, the one I was just playing a little bit ago was probably the one you liked. November Rain.
That's it.
There's 3 of them they actually did that was really, really
Poison.
fucking good.
I told you. It was
Yeah.
either Poison or Guns N' Roses. It wasn't
No, it wasn't
the other
Guns
one.
N' Roses.
No, right.
But
I
there are
said,
3 of them that
It's
Guns N'
Poison.
Roses did that were really, really good. And
They got one of their album covers banned back then. Remember that?
yeah, I do. You had Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses.
No,
November Rain
that was one of my
by
favorites.
Guns N' Roses. And Estranged
Yeah.
by Guns N' Roses. Now the thing is with Guns N' Roses, the kind of music that they produced, that was the kind of music that Axl Rose and his style went with.
Right.
You can't take Axl Rose and put him
In an AC.
in an AC/DC type band because their music and his vocals do not mix.
I mean, I could see him and Guns N' Roses doing a tribute to AC.
yeah, I could see them doing a tribute.
But
Now, another one you
to
can't
go on
another one
tour
we can't
and
forget
replace Brian Johnson,
about. No.
it can't be done. That's like
There's only one person, in my opinion, that can ever replace Brian Johnson
Jim
since
Brewer.
Bon Scott is no longer around. Is Jim Brewer?
and I agree. And you know what? I remember this because when we were talking about this, remember when we talked about this before about Jim Brewer
Mhm.
and AC/DC? I saw something on the internet about that it's all, that other people have asked about why he wasn't asked and different articles about that. I'll never, and I'm a big Jim Brewer fan too. I
he is.
would
He's funny
so
as
pay
shit.
money to see AC/DC if he was the one that became the front.
Oh yeah, if they got him in there as a frontman.
The
Oh,
thing
fuck
about the thing about AC/DC is like NCIS. It's got some major characters that you can't replace.
Yes.
If you replace those characters wrongly, the show's gonna fail. The band's gonna fail.
Yep.
All right. Malcolm Young, I God rest his soul. All right, who was one of the original founders of AC/DC, died of dementia and all that, or complications from dementia. All right. He can be replaced because he was a guitarist. Now, on the other hand, Angus, on the other hand, can't be replaced.
No, and that's all because
of his
this
little
one little stunt.
schoolboy,
That one little stunt
schoolboy
they did.
persona, and that man, I tell you what, if they could probably bottle his fucking sweat from that shows that they do, and sell it, they'd probably be a millionaire. I mean, much richer than they are now, because I've never seen a guy sweat so much on stage during
That's
a concert,
because
and I've
he's
seen
so
a lot of.
fucking active.
I know it, even in his old age,
Yes.
because we've seen him in concert in the 2000s, because that was like
Oh, I know.
2001
I know.
or something like that we saw that Stiff Upper Lip
But
Tour
Angus-
concert.
Angus, guitarist, man.
You can't replace him as a guitarist. There's nobody that's got that
What's that,
talent.
Peanut Gallery?
I gotta walk through.
Go through.
Oh, go! We told you that earlier.
There
we don't
is
care.
no way you can replace Angus's talent. Okay?
No, you can't.
You can't replace Brian Johnson except with Jim Brewer
Brewer.
at the moment that we know of.
Because we haven't heard anybody else that has come forward to even come close to imitating.
So saying that, AC/DC
Now-
should just call it quits.
Here's something else too. We cannot forget
Nazareth,
Queen.
Queen.
Okay.
Oh, there was a
Yeah.
real freak for you. What was his name? Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury.
Oh my God, talk about a fucking freak.
Yeah,
But-
it was-
The fucking music
their music
was,
was great.
I mean, how many times do you think Another One Bites the Dust has been played at a wedding?
Oh my God.
Or
It's not just that.
or how about We Are the Champions has
For the
been played?
Packers.
Not just the Packers, for any
For
fucking
any
sports
sports
game
team, yeah.
after they won
Yeah,
a championship.
yeah, I know.
All right.
And then you got
think
Bohemian
about
Rhapsody.
it. Bohemian
which
Rhapsody.
was
Wayne's World. I was just gonna say Wayne's World. I should grab that.
They
for
did
this.
awesome for that. So you can't forget.
You can't
Queen, 'cause
forget.
Queen is another one of those
They were
legendary
very.
rock bands.
Oh yeah, Hall of Famers.
Oh hell yeah!
Then you got Nazareth, which didn't get
Nazareth,
quite
they
the
were good, but they
didn't
get the fame
quite
that
the
they,
fame that they should have.
Right, they didn't get the fame that they should have. Then you also
But
have.
that was because the one song they wouldn't play on the radio
but
without editing
let's
it.
get a little.
until
Let's get a
recently.
little older here too. You know, let's go a little further back.
Styx.
You were talking about Elvis. Okay.
Elvis, the king of rock and roll,
Elvis was dubbed the king of rock and roll.
for
But
many reasons.
wasn't it you that told me that a lot of the songs that Elvis sang weren't even his own songs?
No,
They were songs written by other people that he sang.
right. Elvis wasn't so much of a songwriter.
No, he was a singer.
But
he was a performer.
he had the problem with Elvis is, and you Elvis fans out there, I don't care if you disagree with me or not, but I consider myself an Elvis expert. Okay. I was alive when he was still alive,
when it comes to
and I was a
Elvis,
fan of him when he was
he
still
knows his
alive. You know, I remember when he went to the Coliseum and I wanted to go to that concert, okay, in 77. All right. I got pictures from that concert, however. The thing about Elvis is he was being manipulated by Colonel Tom Parker, his manager. So he
his
had
manager, who he should have
he
fired
had to
from day one.
basically do the music that they wanted him to do, because they were afraid that if Elvis changed his format or his style or anything, that his fame was going to go down. And that wasn't the fact. That wasn't true.
No, it wasn't.
Because there was a lot of after his death, there was some unreleased recordings of him that later got released, like
Yeah.
memories. You know, there was some that were only on one album, but
Yep.
you know, they're good songs. Now, no, none of his songs was written by him, but a lot of those songs were written for him.
Yeah, but did he not write at least a couple of them?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
I
think
thought he
so.
did.
I think he wanted to, and they shot him down.
Now, Elvis was the king of rock and roll from the United States. Now, during
Right.
his time,
He took.
what was the band that came to the
All
United
right, I'll
States?
tell you. I'll get to that, but let me finish a train of thought here, please, because you asked a question and I
No, that's okay.
and
Go
I
ahead.
gotta. All right, now, what he did though, however, was he took, and this is what made him famous, because of the way Elvis grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi, in a poor family. He was around a lot of black people growing up in the South.
Right.
Okay.
He sat in on a lot of the
So he
sermons
was
from the black churches and
well.
stuff.
That not only the gospel music
Mhm.
at the church, the black churches, and I'm not trying to offend the black people, because I'd rather listen to their music than the shit I have to listen to when I go to church. If I went to
Oh, God,
if I
yes.
went to church, okay.
Well, and not just that.
Well,
and
they're
we're
more
not trying
like-
to
they're
offend
more
the
like
black people either.
dancing
They got
and-
more rhythm.
Yeah, and they're more cheerful, and it's more upbeat.
It's
and
a bluesy type of music.
I
that
love
they
it.
have.
I would love to
and
go to a
stuff.
black person,
But
an all
here's
black
the thing,
church,
though,
than to
with
go
that.
to this fucking bullshit churches of these Lutherans or these Catholics, and it's like, oh, and I'm like,
No, yeah, you're snoring.
yeah, I'm starting to fall
But
asleep
here's,
in the
here's
pews.
another thing though
you
about
know?
that. Okay,
But Elvis
The-
grew up
the-
where they were playing a lot of blues.
right. But I'm wondering what Elvis would think of the music that some of these blacks are producing
I
today.
think he would not like it so much.
You have a lot to say about it.
I bet he would. The thing
Especially
about
with like
see,
Kanye West and
Elvis,
all these other morons.
Elvis's
I don't
influences,
like the
you know,
the rap and stuff like that.
if I knew like the jazz and the real old,
Jazz is awesome, man.
the real old blues singers from way back
Oh,
when,
God.
like before Elvis's time, those were a lot of his major influences. You know, people like, you know, the only guy that comes to mind, and I'm sorry, is Benny King. Okay, but people like
B.B. King?
B.B. King, you know, those guys are the ones that had some
Mm-hmm.
influence over him. There was a lot more names. I just don't know them right offhand because I'm not totally in the Elvis mode. You know what I mean? But he had a lot of major influences, and they were all from that black community, that gospel and the blues communities.
Now, not just the men were singers.
Now,
that are
some of
good
them
singers.
old timers,
Don't forget Dusty Springfield.
right?
She was
But
another
now
one
listen.
that was
Now-
an influence on him too.
Those old timers are the ones that taught him how to play the guitar too,
hmm
down in the blues district.
That's why
where
when he
went
was
to.
playing, that's why when he played, he had some of the bluesy.
Well, that's
sounds
why he
when
was
he
a
came
white
out.
man with a black sound. So much because
Well,
he had so
didn't-
much influence.
Wasn't
on
wasn't he called a white man with a black soul at one time?
No, white man with a black sound.
No, they never said black soul. Huh?
That's why Sun Records, the guy at Sun Records, signed him so quickly when they heard him, because he came in and he sung "That's All Right, Mama," and then it was over with.
Yeah.
You know, for him. You know,
Well,
he had many
Remember,
jobs
there's
before
there's
that.
another group. There was a group.
Group,
Now,
the
Elvis was a
Beatles.
single.
The Beatles.
Okay, and the Beatles. You cannot.
The
Beatles.
Now,
They are
out
a
of the
group.
Beatles-
They are a group that you cannot
No.
push aside. You cannot
I-
say no
I'm not a-
to them.
I'm not a great.
These.
I'm not a great fan of the bug music. Okay, as I call it. And I'm only using that from the Flintstones
Yes,
because it was
I
a funny
understand.
thing. Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
All right, now
but
here I got a
you
lot
may
of
not
good
be a
to say
fan,
about the
but
Beatles.
They had some.
No, I still
awesome
got a lot of
stuff.
good things to say about the Beatles. Okay, because I did like them, and I
Yeah.
still do like a lot of their older stuff. Now, Yellow Submarine was a great album.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Sergeant Pepper's
Lonely Hearts Club
Club
Band. Okay. Now, out of that, now this might piss off some of you Beatles fans out there. Okay. But I do believe the reason that the Beatles got destroyed is because of Yoko Ono.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. She
Now-
fucked that group up so bad, and it was all because of
You
her
had-
influence on John.
You had four great, awesome talents that melted together so well
Yep.
that they created a whole new beatnik type of sound
Yes,
for
they
people
did.
to listen to. And it's the only way I could kind of describe their music. Hippie music, I guess. It was,
It wasn't really hippie music.
but back in the 70s, in the 60s, it was a lot of hippies
this
and
was
love
early
and stuff like
mid-60s
that,
when they
and
started
they
coming
were
up
a
with
popular
rings.
thing. I mean, they drew a crowd and broke a lot of Elvis's records in the Guinness
Yes,
Book and
they
so on
did.
and so forth.
Yes, they did.
All right, and it took a group to do that.
Yeah.
Not even from the United States.
No, they're English.
Now, out of that group,
Now, you
out of
you
that
can't
group,
forget
you have
you
John,
have
Lennon, who was
Ringo
a
Starr.
Let me- Don't
Okay.
go on. You had John Lennon, aka married to Yoko Ono. That's why the band got split, because she started manipulating him,
Yeah, she
brainwashing
she
him,
pulled
or
her
whatever.
She pulled a lot of bullshit on him.
But he was not only a singer-songwriter, he was one of the singer-songwriters that was part of that group. Now,
Yeah.
usually a group only has one singer-songwriter type person. Not this
Not
group.
this group. This group-
That's besides their look, that's the other thing that made them unique. Now, getting to the other dude. This guy had, I don't know which one, but I think just because, unfortunately, John Lennon got shot.
Yep.
Okay. And I remember where I was when that happened. Sad day for music industry
Yes, it
all
was.
around the
Yes,
world.
it was.
All right. Now, unfortunately for that, we'll never know the answer to this question: who is going to be the greatest solo act of all time? Was it going to be John Lennon or Paul McCartney? Now, Paul McCartney, on the other hand, did something else. He married Linda McCartney, and then it was Paul McCartney and the Wings, and I think she was part of that. And then it was Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, and then Paul McCartney's solo act.
Yep.
And then later on, he did duets with Michael Jackson,
Yes, he did.
okay, and a few other people. Now, that guy's big time famous.
Oh hell yeah.
All right, Paul McCartney. I liked him even when he. Now, like I said, I wasn't the greatest fan of the Beatles, but I did enjoy their music, and I do know a lot of it, and I do know a lot about the Beatles. But Paul McCartney, when he went solo, I really liked some of his music,
Oh, yeah.
like Temporary Secretary, and I can't remember a lot of them off the top of the head because it's been a long time. But then there was like No More Lonely Nights, Then he did that one, Ebony and Ivory, and that was with Stevie Wonder, who we can't forget either from that era.
No, you can't forget
Or
Stevie
Michael
Wonder.
Jackson.
No.
Or here, speaking of Michael
But you also
Jackson,
have
then we
Ringo
got
Starr and
George Harrison.
George Harrison. You know, they also Ringo.
Ringo went
wrote some
solo,
stuff.
yeah, and he was in, so see, like I
But
said,
he didn't make it as far being a solo act as
No.
the others.
No.
And then you had.
It was always an argument who would have been bigger and better, John Lennon or Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Okay, but they were the two frontmen for that group. Because if it wasn't John Lennon singing the leads, it was Paul McCartney singing the leads.
Yep.
Did you know that Paul McCartney's wife is an heiress to the Kodak family?
Well, I didn't know that, but I knew she. I
She
mean,
was a Kodak.
you know, Linda McCartney.
Wow.
Linda McCartney. She died of cancer, if I'm
The
not
Kodak
mistaken, or
Theater
something.
that's in Los Angeles.
Well, I think she died of cancer.
Yeah, she did a long time ago.
But anyway, Linda McCartney was also.
That voice is my girlfriend. She knows a lot about this stuff.
Linda
too.
McCartney
I'm a
was
Beatles
also.
fan.
Linda McCartney was also a duo act with Paul McCartney for a while because they had albums that came out, and that was after the Wings,
Scoot
if I'm
over
not
here.
mistaken.
It's an
Yeah.
ashtray right here.
Actually, I think she was in the Wings with them, Paul McCartney and the Wings
Mhm,
too
the
at one
Wings, yeah.
time. But then you can't forget.
Every time I
Alright.
sit down, Joy wants to come.
Here's
You're
another
not
one.
sitting, you're standing. And scoot
All right,
over.
here's another one. I got one for you. This band was made for TV only to be a fake band, but then they turned out
They
to be
were a
real,
spoof for a band we were just discussing.
and they were supposed to be some no talent fucked actors that turned out to have a lot of musical talent and blew the fucking world away for a while.
Yes, they did.
You know.
Do you know who we're talking
And
about?
there was more controversy
fan,
about that group being a fake band than a real band. And then they even had their lead singer go off and become famous on his own.
Give me a hint.
Hey, hey.
All right, I'll give you a hint.
The Monkees?
Davy Jones.
Hey, hey,
Oh,
those
yeah?
monkeys.
Davy
Yeah.
Jones was a solo act for a while
Yeah.
too because he showed up on the Brady Bunch.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
Because Marcia had a crush on him.
Yep.
Wanted him to come to the high school prom and perform.
Yes.
He was on the remake of the Brady Bunch movie, too.
But Davy Jones went solo from the Monkees, kind of like Paul McCartney did from the Beatles, and unfortunately Paul McCartney's
if it wasn't for
musical
Yoko
legend
Ono,
type
yeah.
thing, and
Beatles made it
unfortunately for
longer.
Davy Jones, he didn't quite make it so high.
That's what we were just saying.
But I think the
That's
Monkees
the
might have
reason
had
that
a
they got
great-
screwed.
The Monkees might have had a great run and a great career if it wasn't for all the controversy surrounding them being fake because of the way the television networks handled them and didn't want them singing
And
or-
they did
and
the.
writing
They
their
sang
own
fine.
songs.
There was nothing
Oh
fair
yeah,
about
well
it.
Davy Jones was
They
brilliant.
sang, they weren't lip syncing like.
and then the other
Milli
guy.
Vanilli
Hold on,
did.
hold on. Let's see if we can
we're not-
remember.
We're not talking
Hold
Milli
on.
Vanilli.
I know.
Hold on. Let's see if we can
We're talking
remember.
older stuff.
Let's see if we can remember who they were. We had Davy Jones, Michael Nesbeth,
Mickey
Peter
Dolenz
Tork,
and Mickey Dolenz.
and Mickey Dolenz. All right, now here's a little history for you, a little history lesson for you. See if you can, or a little trivia question.
Yeah.
There is a famous song out there called "The Cat's in the Cradle."
Yeah.
All right, "Cat's in the Cradle in the Silver
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 Spoon,
Yeah.
Little Boy
Blue
Blues,
Man in the Moon." All right,
Yeah.
coming home, Dad. I don't know when. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All right, one of those three, not Davy Jones. Okay, you got Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, and Michael Nesbeth. Okay,
I think Michael Nesmith was the.
one
I
of
think it was
them.
him.
One of them sung in that song with their son, recorded it as they were long after the Monkees broke up.
Is it Michael? Well, come on, you're the.
I'm thinking.
She's got smoke coming out of her eyes yet. We gotta wait.
Smoke coming
Or
out
out of
of
her
her
ears. Sorry. Maybe it was out of her nose. Looked like her eyes. I don't know. Anyway, it's Michael Nesbeth.
Nesmith,
Yeah.
yeah.
But see,
Oh yeah, we
I don't know
can't.
much about the Monkees.
there
I
was
remember the group and their
a
singing,
big
but
controversy.
I
I
don't know
watched
history or anything.
that true behind the Hollywood scenes thing, and there was a lot of
the
documentaries
true
on the
Hollywood
Monkees.
story.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of things. See, I grew up watching the Monkees. I loved that show.
Yeah, they're good.
Hey, we're the Monkees.
They do.
I mean, it was just
stuff.
such a fucked up, goofy show. It kind of reminded
did
me
a
of
lot of
Sid and
goofy
Marty
stuff.
Krofft type shows.
Yeah.
You know, because the way they were kind of goofy.
Oh yeah.
They goofed around and did a lot of goofy stuff. Yeah.
Was that them?
No.
Who's that?
Cream. Eric
Oh,
Clapton.
Cream.
That's the one that Eric Clapton was with. Cream. They're another really good group.
Wasn't there a group that
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Oh,
Can't forget
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Southern Cross was my favorite song. And then you had Simon
Can't forget the
Simon
Beach
and
Boys either,
Garfunkel,
dude.
Beach Boys. Oh my God. Then you got Jan and Dean.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go back further than the
No,
Beach
no,
Boys
no,
when it
Beach
comes to that
Boys-
kind of
Beach
beach
Boys,
music. And you
Beach
get-
Boys.
And being from California, you got to know who Jan and Dean are, right?
Vaguely. I could probably find them on here. I'm
Beach
on.
Boys are still together yet.
Yeah,
Sort of,
they
yeah.
still do.
Yeah.
Credence, man, you can't forget Credence Clearwater.
CCR?
CCR.
No.
Now they're just
We listened to
CC.
them the other night.
How come I ain't getting a search thing?
I don't know.
It's because I ain't got a fucking mouse.
Yeah,
Now, what was I going to look up now?
Jan and Dean.
Thank you.
And there's another band that we cannot.
A rock and roll,
That's from 41. Holy fuck.
California sound and vocal surf music. They sung some that's popularized by.
I think
I'm
Beach
trying to
Boys
think of
sang
the.
similar songs.
Possibly.
No,
But there is another band that we didn't mention in our little
tokens.
that we should not ever forget about.
Surf City.
Okay.
Surf City.
Okay.
Here we come.
This band
Going
we
to Surf
cannot
City.
forget
Yeah,
about
gonna
this
have
band.
some fun. What? What's that band?
And they have one of the most famous songs out there.
Oh, the Eagles.
Thank you. Hotel California.
Hotel California. And then speaking of Hotel California, all right. Now here's a way to cross. What's that game where they cross movies over by the actors that played in them, and they're in this movie and that movie, and then you tie 3 or 4 movies. It was like a game that they. Anyway, I'm gonna tie this together. One of the greatest guitarists in the world. He's considered one of the greatest because you know that list is pretty long. Okay.
There's a couple other bands we can't forget about either.
All right.
Gotta make sure we mention them.
You know, because you got Slash on that list. Okay.
Well, Slash is one of the greats. He's one of the
Right.
few.
But
I was talking
Who
with
played-
Lisa about this. Hang on, I was talking
Who-
with Lisa about this the other night. In fact, last night when we were
Watching
watching
videos. Yeah.
videos.
hey,
listening
you
to
left
music.
topic. We're still on the Eagles here.
No, I am. I'm still on the Eagles here.
No, you're not.
But you're talking great guitar players now.
No, I want to ask you a question about Hotel California. All right. There's a version of Hotel California out there. There's one of the greatest guitar players in the world on that, and he's not an Eagles member.
No, he's not. He is a.
Who is it? And what band is he from?
Santana.
He is Carlos Santana, and he is
Hell
Carlos.
Freezes Over
tour.
One of the best
Now,
Eagles
hang on
album
now.
ever.
You want to start getting into who's who on guitar playing?
No, I don't.
No,
I just say it. That was
I'll
just
tell
one
you
of my
right now.
favorites.
I'll tell you right now. There is one person only that can hold it, and has not been beat yet as the greatest guitar player in the fucking world.
Who's that?
He's from the Grateful Dead,
Oh,
Jerry Garcia. The only ones that come close is Carlos Santana, but he has that Latin rhythm, and Slash from Guns N' Roses. That man when Garcia was alive, and you put those two together, he could go chord to chord with Garcia. Not as great, but he could go chord to chord
yeah,
with
the
Garcia.
Grateful Dead, and now we can't forget the Doors either. Now.
No, you got the Doors. Got the,
You know, somebody said,
And
you know,
you got-
speaking of the Doors,
Jim
But-
Morrison and the Doors.
I was in a This was another one though. I didn't have all of this. Okay? I didn't have all of this, but I had all the long curly, and it was real humid out. And I was out at a Target store on the far west side to buy a stereo. Unfortunately, the stereo didn't look like what we were looking at there. It was one of these modern day one-piece
Yeah.
jobs.
One of
Okay?
these boom boxes?
Yeah, that's what I call it. It is. It's like
Yeah,
a
boom
boom
box.
box for the house.
Yeah.
Anyway, I buy this. I go in there and I check it out, and this lady's like, and I don't know why people think this because I don't see this, and this isn't the first time, and I'm gonna
This
go
is
off
another
again
one
on
I'm
this
following.
because this happened twice. This happened 2 different times. One it didn't make sense to me because I didn't see it. I don't see it. But I didn't have any of this, okay? Now remember that. None of this facial hair was, none of it, not even the mustache, okay? And she says, oh, you look like that guy from Doors, that Val Kilmer played, you know, because that movie was out.
Jim
She said,
Morrison.
You know,
Jim
and I'm going,
Morrison.
yeah, right, you know, and I'm thinking to myself. Then later, now this one I saw more of, okay? And I don't know if this was a real band, but there were real bands in the movie, and there was a really great, brilliant song by Elton John as like the title song, Tiny Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was almost famous. It was I can't remember who had it, but Polly Perrette, Abby was in there. Okay, see if you can ever spot her if you watch it again. Got a very small scene. I love Abby. Sorry. But anyway, that was a brilliant movie about music, and they weren't groupies. They called them something else. Band-Aids.
Band-Aids?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Goldie Hawn's daughter, Kate Hudson,
Kate Hudson was in it.
was in that movie as well. Okay.
Actually, I think she was
But
like
the
one of the
main,
leads.
the main singer, the lead singer of the band that the guy was supposed to be, what was it, James Cameron? Is he the one that wrote that movie? Or Cameron Crowe? Basically, the movie was supposed to be based on part of his life or something like that, okay? The guy that wrote the movie or the screenplay or whatever it is, how movies get made, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the kid that was going around interviewing the bands was supposed to be him when he was growing up. Okay, how he became into writing and stuff.
Right.
Okay, but he started out as a rock journalist, wanted to be a rock journalist. So he followed around this band called Stillwater. Okay, the lead singer I got told that I looked like the lead singer from Stillwater. And that was like weeks later because I had the mustache coming back at the time.
Oh.
And then it wasn't gray either because that was, you know, right when that movie was out and pretty popular.
Now, we were before your
Yeah.
story, which is a cool story and everything. Talking about guitar players.
Yeah, guitar
Yeah,
players.
play the-
yeah, Slash and
Can you name the one guitar player who was pretty famous, very, very damn good?
I think I
guitar
know where.
player.
Hold on.
Hang on. And he played a right-handed guitar left-handed.
Yeah, and he died in a helicopter
Stevie Ray
crash.
Vaughan?
Stevie, that's the one I was
No?
thinking.
Wasn't Stevie Ray Vaughan?
This guy right here.
I can't see who is this guy right here. Now you're gonna make me put on my glasses.
Oh,
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix.
Yeah,
He is left-handed, and then
I didn't know
at
a
the
whole
time
lot
he
about
started,
Jimi Hendrix.
at the time he started in learning to play guitar, they did not make left-handed guitars.
You know, when I actually was listening to him a little bit back in the day, I don't remember much from that time. Because I was like young and smoking a lot of shit.
You're supposed to smoke drugs and that shit.
Purple Haze.
Is
I
that
mean,
the stuff that
you're
was
sitting
coming
there.
out of your dog's ass
Listen to
after you ate
this.
it?
You're sitting there. Not only are you listening to Purple Haze, but you could be smoking Purple Haze.
Drinking, didn't you?
You didn't know. And then if you were smoking Purple Haze, you were sitting there in a Purple Haze for a while.
Hey.
You know, and back then they had black lights when you're sitting there.
yeah.
You're sitting there
Oh, yeah.
smoking pot. You're in the basement. You're listening to fucking tunes. You're smoking pot, passing around the fucking bong, and you're listening to Hendrix. You're listening to the Doors. You're listening to the Grateful Dead.
You're listening,
listening
to
to-
Pink Floyd.
You're listening to Pink Floyd.
You're listening to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Black Dog. You know, Zeppelin 4. You know.
And we cannot forget Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, Ozzy
Okay?
Osbourne.
Ozzy.
You know,
Oh,
Ozzy
remember that
Black-
picture I showed you of Ozzy?
Yes.
Iron Maiden. All
Now
right,
you're getting back into the big hair bands and stuff.
but still, Bon Jovi,
Guns N' Roses.
Motley Crue,
Like Cruel.
whatever.
Scorpions.
ZZ Top,
Rat.
Rat,
ZZ Top,
Scorpions, White Snake.
Yeah.
The
Animals.
50s, man.
You know, you're listening to all this stuff, and you're sitting there, and you got these black light.
Not
But
50s.
when you're sitting
80s.
there,
I was just
but
gonna say Guns N'
stoners.
Roses.
We already talked about
When
that.
you're sitting there as a stoner, you got the black lights, man. You got some of this stuff like the
Poison.
Hendrix and the Doors,
Poison.
more or less, and you know, Black Dog,
Mhm.
Zeppelin. You know,
Did you
some
mention
of
Poison?
Yes, we
Pink
did.
Floyd.
Striper.
You've never heard of Striper.
Striper?
Yeah,
It's
Striper is
it's
this-
actually Christian
Striper is
rock
this-
band.
Riot.
Hang on.
But it sounds,
I'm gonna
but
fuck
they
with her.
sound just like Guns
Striper-
N' Roses and Poison and all
The
that.
striper is this fish that's it's a bass and you catch it in the lake and it's a striper. It's a striped bass. It's got stripes on it.
But there's also a
They
band
also
named
call them
Striper.
zebra bass.
There's also a
You ever
band
see a
named Striper.
dorkfish? Speaking of fish, you ever see a dorkfish? You know what dorkfish eats? Corn dogs. They just love them their corn dogs, you know.
Oh my god.
You know what?
I was just fishing. I was just
I've
swimming around the ocean out there, and I
I
saw
have
me a
heard
corn dog,
of
and I go,
striper,
"What's a
yes.
corn dog?"
I'm gonna sit here and watch my movie.
And he called me and put me up fish tank. It's like, God damn, I love them corn dogs. See me some more of them corn dogs. What's a dorkfish? I'm a dorkfish.
Oh my god.
Gotta be the goofiest looking thing in the ocean, you know. I could just picture one now. Anyway, I'm off the comedy racket. But
No,
yeah,
another one that we can't forget.
Beach Boys was real popular. You know, you had all kinds of weird
The only
music.
original one left from them is Brian Wilson. He's still alive.
Oh, and then you had, and then how about Solid Gold? Remember that show?
Oh, God, yeah.
Or
That's
Dick
not
Clark?
a band. That's not a band.
Yeah, but
okay, Dick
you're
Clark.
talking about the you want music
But
when they
another
talked
one
about
we can't. Another
top
one we
hits.
cannot forget. And this group spawned a great solo artist too.
Who's that?
And
Come on.
they're
The anticipation is killing me.
they're nicknamed the Mac.
The Mac. Going, oh,
Fleetwood Mac.
And you're talking about Stevie Nicks.
Yes. Stevie Nicks was
They
she
just
came out
fired.
of
They
there
just
as
fired
a-
Lindsey Buckingham
They're
too.
going back on tour.
Yeah.
I
They
heard.
just fired Lindsey Buckingham.
I know.
I gotta go
I know,
back.
and they're going back.
Can you get me
They
some?
did
Yes, I'm going
that.
back.
They did that ahead of going back on tour.
Yes, because Lindsey Graham didn't
It's
want
like
to go on
a
tour.
it's like a reunion tour, but you got the original. You got what was it? What's the guy's name? There's like the original.
Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah, the Mick Fleetwood. That's I was trying to think of the founder's still there, you know, and so on and so forth. And then you got the other woman that's still going to be there.
Yeah,
And Stevie Nicks is coming back
the
for
woman
it.
that just walked away to go use the restroom and bring me a
I
soda
was just
back.
reading an article on
She'll be
that.
able to tell you
I'll
exactly
bring
who
me a
that
soda,
other woman
too.
is.
I can
Hey
use one.
Lisa,
This only got
can
a
you
sip
bring
in it.
two, please? But yeah, I mean,
I don't
you
think she can
can't
hear you. She was in the can.
you can't forget. Okay,
But there's a lot you can't
Lisa,
forget.
you in there?
How about the knack?
he said you're in the can. You in there?
How about the knack?
I don't see. I don't
And-
see you in this can.
Hey,
Joe says you're in the can.
how about the knack?
You see her in there?
How about the knack?
Oh, can you bring two?
My scrotum. Dun, 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 dun. My scrotum.
Thank you.
Dun,
Here,
dun, dun,
Scrotum.
dun, dun.
Hey, Scrotum, here.
Who did that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was.
Cheech and Chong made fun of that in Up in
No.
Smoke.
Thank
My
you. Thank you.
scrotum.
You asked me, and I was
Oh.
getting ready to answer you, and she kind of stepped
Oh.
over me.
The knack.
Knack.
Wonders
Was it the
Band.
Knack?
The Motel. The Motels. Only the Lonely. Nina. 99 Luftballons.
Yes, Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Can't forget them. They're German too, I believe.
You know.
And the Rolling Stones,
Oh.
another classic.
Mick.
Mick
Mick
Jagger,
Jagger.
and Keith Richards.
Oh, Keith Richards. I loved how they took him and got him to be Jack Sparrow's dad.
Well, Jack
in that.
Sparrow was based partly on Keith Richards.
Yes, he did.
Johnny Depp
Johnny
became
Depp.
pretty good friends with Keith
Yes.
Richards. I'm jealous. Fucker. Got to hang out and smoke pot. Oh, and all right, let's get on to some other legends now. Let's get on to a different genre here. Not just the rock and roll, because there's all kinds of great people that came out of it. You got
awesome.
Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers,
Oh, you want to go? You want
Johnny
to go
Cash,
to fucking
Waylon
you want-
Jennings,
you wanna
the
go to
Highwayman.
country now.
Merle Haggard.
you know.
Well,
Oh, and what's the guy?
country is not what it
Willie-
used to be.
Who's the guy that they always showed his hands on TV but never his face?
Wait, man, Dukes of Hazzard, Waylon.
There you go, Waylon Jennings.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. That was part of the Highwayman.
Willie.
You know, he's still going strong today. He's got a
Isn't
song
Chris
out there.
Christopherson part of that too?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got a song out there
Yeah,
called "Roll
Chris
Me Up and
Christopherson
Smoke
is
Me
part
When
of
I
it.
Die."
I know I heard that one.
He's got one that says "Roll me up and smoke me when I
You
die."
know-
I never thought about it. After watching, you know, when I was growing up, and you had "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys," which, by the way, The Ranch, it's Waylon Jennings' son and Willie Nelson's son that are singing that on The Ranch, by the way. All right, just so you know. But anyway, I never thought I'd see somebody like Willie Nelson. I mean, I always thought in the back of my mind, okay, that he was an old hippie. Okay, literally. Okay. And he, aside from the legends Cheech and Chong of being advocates for pot, the other biggest, most famous advocate for pot in my eyes is Willie Nelson.
Oh.
You know, and
Yes.
So who's the poster boy for pot?
oh, that's Cheech and Chong.
The
Definitely.
poster boys.
Always heard that his herb was top shelf.
No,
I just
I want you to find.
could not wait to
Just
find.
wait. You get,
Always heard that his herb was top.
They wrote that. You know, it would be kind of fun to. I don't think I would be able to survive smoking weed with Willie. But you know, when they surprised him with that song, and that was fucking hilarious. And if you're gonna do that, that should be over here and up there. But anyway, they did. If you notice, I don't know if you've seen both videos, but that obviously you know that one because you just brought it up, and I'm sure you've seen it before. All right, Willie Nelson's back there cracking up, laughing during it. All right.
I know.
All right, and Scott Emmerich, the other guy over on guitar, Toby Keith's buddy Scott Emmerich, he's got a Willie-esque looking guitar, if you
Yes.
notice.
Yes.
Okay.
But here,
Now,
for some of these people that may be watching this that haven't seen it yet, I'm playing it.
Hey, all of these artists have one thing in common. We've all ended up on Willie's bus after the show, and me and my buddy Scott Emmerich wrote a song about it. I think y'all can figure it out.
and he also shows up on, I'll do the other one.
I always heard that his herb was top shelf. Lord, I just could not wait to find out for myself.
Well, don't knock it till you tried it. I've tried it, my friend. I'll never smoke weed with Willie again.
Now we learned a hard lesson in a small Texas town.
He fired up a fat boy and he passed him around.
The last words I spoke before they took me in.
I know, but
I made discount bungee jump, but I'll never smoke weed.
I never thought I'd
with
see
Willie
Willie
again.
be such an advocate for
I'll never smoke weed with Willie
Or Toby Keith for that
My
matter.
party's all over
we always speaking
before it
music. I mean,
began.
okay. And
You can
he
pour
does
me
this
some
one over
more
here.
Whiskey River, my friend. But I'll never
I never thought I'd see that on
smoke
Toby
weed with
Keith at all.
Willie again. Let's go down to Texas, y'all.
Die Hard American though, I mean, you know, he did that song. He did that song on Angry American.
And now we're passing the guitar, telling good jokes. I could tell one was coming, 'cause I'm smelling smoke. No, I do not partake, I just let it pass by. With a grin on my face and a great contact high. I'll never smoke
Okay,
weed.
let's get on with the show.
Yeah, I had to do that.
But then Toby Keith did this one, Wacky Tobacco, which also has Willie Nelson coming out of the bathroom with a lot of smoke in the air. We all know what he was doing in there. Oh, and then when he appeared on Dukes of Hazzard, not only was he doing Moonshine as Uncle Jesse, and they couldn't have picked a better Uncle Jesse, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
All right, he did that. He was one of the only actors on that show that did their role justice. Burt Reynolds sucked as Boss Hogg.
That was
I
a
don't know
good
who that
choice.
fucker was playing Roscoe.
No, yeah.
The guy that played Cooter was a fucking joke.
Mhm.
And the only other one that was worth a damn in that entire movie
Easy.
was Johnny Knoxville playing Tom Wopat's character as Luke Duke. The guy that they had playing, I mean, Bo Duke, yeah, he loved the general a lot, but not like that. You didn't say, I'm gonna get you home and make love to you, when
never
he's
did
sitting there
that.
listening to that fucking
No,
cassette tape.
that was the dude who played Stifler.
Yeah,
William
on
Scott
the
or
American
something.
Pie movies. They picked the
His name
wrong
is William
guy
Scott or something.
to play Bo Duke. And don't get me started on Daisy
Another
Duke.
one, Daisy. Yeah.
Alright, the woman is okay. Alright, what was that woman? Who was it? God damn it, what was her fucking name?
Jessica Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, she sucked as Daisy Duke. Daisy Duke was
Well,
a
I hear
fucking
that
blonde.
she sucked a lot.
Well,
She
she
I don't think
wasn't.
they researched that show very well.
She wasn't cut out for that role. Let me get in
Uh-uh.
fucking Hollywood and I'll fucking cast those roles right. And Burt fucking Reynolds is Boss fucking Hogg. Give me a goddamn break.
That was a bad choice.
That was one of the worst choices next to the Daisy Duke choice. And I don't know who that fuck was Roscoe, but Roscoe wasn't a big, ugly, monster-looking dude like that. Roscoe would cower to Boss Hogg in a second.
He was goofy.
Yeah, he was a fuck-up.
He covered everybody.
And then the guy they had playing Enos,
Yeah.
I mean, they disgraced those roles,
No.
literally.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go off. I mean, they ruined too much. So far, they haven't ruined one thing, and that's the thing we're talking about is music, except for some of this trash that they've come out with.
The ones that okay, yeah, they have ruined music. By the way,
Well, not in my eyes, because I'm listening
No.
to country nowadays.
yeah, the country nowadays.
It's a lot better than the olden days, in a
No.
way.
No, I think the
It's
old
not.
stuff better.
To me, I like some of the newer
Oh,
stuff, but
so you like Florida Georgia Line?
I haven't heard that much. I'm talking about some of this stuff like Kenny Chesney and,
Well, Garth Brooks stayed.
My
stayed
niece
the
Nicole
course
went
like
to
he
see Kenny
should've.
Chesney tonight.
Well, yeah, but Numbnuts didn't either. That came out at the same time, but they overplayed his music. But they
Yeah.
also overplayed the one song
But-
from Garth Brooks, and look what happened because
But
there was no lyrics
I'm sorry.
to that
Okay,
song. It
I
don't
don't
break
like
my
rap
heart,
music.
my achy breaky heart.
I don't like rap music.
Well, I don't. I like some rap music.
No, I don't like any of it.
You didn't like Funky Cold Medina and like
Funky Cold Medina.
or whatever, or the one when he sung
Are
the
you
same
gonna,
guy
are you
told
gonna call
him
it
no,
Funky
fuck
Cold
you.
Martini
You
now?
know, fuck you. Wait till you get old and have to have dentures, fuck face, and then you try
It
to
ain't
have
the
to talk
dentures.
again.
It ain't the dentures causing your mouth to not work. It's your brain.
Listen here, asswipe. Tone Loc also did Wild Thing, and those were big in the dance
Well,
clubs.
those were early rap. I'm talking about the shit today.
Oh, the shit today, forget it. You ain't gonna catch me listening to some of this shit.
Then why?
today.
Then why would you? Think
Oh,
that-
except Kid Rock.
No, I don't like Kid Rock's shit either. Whenever he does that.
Some of it was pretty good.
No, I don't like any of the fucking rap crap that they do. It's bullshit.
Kid Rock had a few rap songs that were pretty good. A few. But
Now, I'll tell you right now,
I like
there's
him.
only one
I like
one
him because he
song
crossed over
that
to
I
like
actually
three
like.
genres. He crossed over from the rap to rock and roll into country music.
There's
and
only
he did a
one-
better job in the later two.
There's only one song that I actually like that has rap in it that was done with a rap group, an older rap group, and an older rock group.
Oh yeah, what was that?
And it was done.
Oh, let me guess. The Aerosmith version of "Walk This Way" with
Yes.
Run DMC.
That is about the only one that even turned out good.
Well, yeah, that was.
But I'm talking about, and what I was talking about with this with country that you got up over there on the other one there.
It's not a country. That's like the front page
Okay,
of
I
YouTube
under-
for me.
I understand. It's because it's the front page of YouTube because of what your history is.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, for like Florida Georgia Line,
They suck.
they suck,
I don't know. I've never heard them.
and they try doing rap.
All right, so maybe it's not today's
You can't
country,
do
but I
rap
mean,
and country,
it's more
that's a
modern
different
country than
category.
what I grew up on. Because I'm talking people like Alan Jackson, you know,
Oh,
and
Willie
Diamond,
Nelson, Alan Jackson.
Diamond
Rio,
Rio,
I like them.
or
Oh, God, Diamond
Lone
Rio was
Star,
awesome.
I always like
or
them, you know?
Black Hawk, or here's
The Oak Ridge Boys.
here's a guy. And then if you mention the Oak Ridge Boys, you can't forget the Statler Brothers. Then.
Yeah, the Statler Brothers.
All right. Now, here's a guy that I'm really jealous of in country music. He's the luckiest son of a bitch on earth when it comes to these superstars in country music. Now, his wedding, his marriage, and that's why I mean he's the luckiest son of a bitch on earth. It wasn't his idea, and it wasn't his wife's idea. It was their grandparents' idea, from what I understand, because I was watching a little thing, and my memory being old age and all is a little bad, but it was an arranged marriage. And you know what? They are a country power couple. You know who they are?
Tim and Faith.
Tim and Faith. When they did that first Soul to Soul tour and they made it to Madison, man, I was there.
I seen
And
on
it was
HBO.
awesome.
I seen on HBO.
They
Pretty good.
not only do they sound, because they try to keep their private life as private as possible,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
must have an incredible at-home life, but not only was that probably a great marriage thing for them in their love lives, but it was the best thing that happened to them musically and in their careers
yeah.
to collaborate together as much as they have. Because when you watch their videos, you get taken in by them.
Yeah.
Because they show so much emotion towards each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, raw, it's stuff you can't fucking fake,
Oh, yeah.
And some of their videos are just so fucking simply made. Like that one song, I Need You, that they did, that one of their newer ones, that I Need You. They're just sitting there facing each other in an empty room with a fireplace behind them and candles lit around all over the place. And then they're sitting in two just, chairs like these that you and, Mark's sitting on here.
Face to face.
And they're facing each other, and they got a glass of wine and a wine glass down next to each other down there, but the emotion that comes out of those two is just unfucking
I've always liked
believable.
both of them. I always liked
You can't fake that. That's like, here, everybody says this, and we're gonna
I've
go
liked
back.
him ever since he came out with Indian Outlaw.
We're
He's
gonna go
one of my
back
favorites.
even further now. We'll go back even further, speaking of duets and couples. Here's one that everybody always thought slept together, and I
Jimmy
highly
Valley.
doubt it. I think they were such close friends because they wrote
Yeah,
songs for
Kenny-
each.
Kenny and
Because they
Dolly.
kept writing songs for each other and singing with each other so much.
I think they're just
They
very
had
close
such a
friends. I don't
strong
think they're-
bond of a friendship, and I mean that in a non-sexual way. That they had they felt comfortable with flirting with each other as much as they did on stage, and they had that good of chemistry with each
Did you
other.
ever see a
That's what it
biography of
was.
Dolly Parton? I
What
seen one
makes
the other
music
day. Her and her husband have been married for almost 50 years.
right? And see, but what makes
You just
music
don't
is
see
that
him
kind of
because
chemistry
he's
that
not
they
public.
have,
No.
and being able to goof off on stage. And the thing is, when you get and I've seen plenty of concerts, probably not as many as most people have, but I've seen a good share of concerts. Okay. And my favorite ones are when you see that the people that are performing for you are having fun. And it's not like a job to them, and they really don't want to be here because they want to be someplace else, and they're not really into it, you know. I mean, that's when the music is good.
Well, they
You
have
know.
to get into it because if
You
it
know, you
wasn't
see-
for the fans, they wouldn't have a career.
You see these collaborations on YouTube where you get something that you've never seen before, but it's an old song, and they collaborate, and then they get together, and it's just a jam session, like some of these videos I've seen in Daryl Hall's basement with like Joe Walsh and other people. Those little jam sessions sometimes can bring out the best in the musicians because they're not pressured by the audience,
Right.
you know. And I can't believe some of the music that was out there and how bad it's gotten since I was growing up and in high school. You know, we had some of the best music, and it's like, what the fuck happened? I'm serious.
Oh, technology.
No, that's why we got off on
Technology
this.
has made it where the singers don't even have to sing.
I'm
on it
serious
anymore.
though, but what happened? Why did it get so bad? You know, I mean, you know, what is this? We gotta go by looks and some kind of, what do you call that, gimmick or something to try to get famous now, and
Yeah.
but you suck singing, and your lyrics suck because you can't write songs, you know,
And a lot of that is the
or this rap shit that got to a point where you can't. Here's another thing. Everybody, we've seen these Super Bowl shows, right?
Mhm.
Do you remember when one that had Aerosmith, Britney? I know Aerosmith being a Hall of Fame legend, rock and roll Hall of Fame legends. Okay, you know, they're the legends out there. Then you had Mary J. Blige. Then you had this Nelly character. Then you had these, what were them fuckers called? New Kid on the Block, or the one that really had it for Britney, that he was part of.
oh god, I can't remember.
The little blonde fucker.
Oh,
Uh,
Bieber.
No,
Justin Bieber?
no, he was from one of those boy groups. You
Oh,
know?
Hanson.
No.
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 He had a thing. He dated Britney Spears for a while,
Oh, I don't know. I remember.
and he was on that. It was like kid.
It wasn't Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Oh,
what
was
was
it?
he part of? Was it New Kids on the Block or
Yeah.
or something? NSYNC
I think
or
it-
NSYNC?
Something like that. Yeah.
It sucked.
I think
That's
that's
pretty
what it
right.
was. I think
That's
it was
pretty right.
NSYNC.
Yeah, it sucked.
All right. So now here's your Super Bowl halftime show. Remember this? It was NSYNC, Britney Spears, the legends themselves, Aerosmith, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly. Now they come out and they sing the song, and the song that they chose to sing is a Aerosmith #1 hit off their greatest hits album, and
They fucked
probably
up.
one of the most played songs ever by Aerosmith was Walk This Way. All right.
Yeah.
You get this Nelly motherfucker out there, this rapper dude, and he totally rewrites the lyrics. You can't understand. Put the mic up to his face so you can't understand a word he says.
Mhm.
Then you got NSYNC over there screwing up. The only ones that did any decency to that song, besides Aerosmith, because it was theirs, was Britney Spears, because she did kind of, even though it was kind of tacky
You
because
can
of her
still at
age
least
and so on
understand
and
what
so
you're singing
forth,
about.
she kind of tore apart an old Aerosmith 3/4 sleeve type shirt and made it her own,
Oh, jeez.
you know, to kind of honor them. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I thought it was kind of cute how Mary J. Blige, when Steven Tyler was going after Britney Spears, that she kind of brought him off and, you know, back to where he should be, you know. It's like she's too young for you, you know, Mary J. Blige being closer to Steven Tyler's age because she's been around a while.
Yeah.
She was another legend, but not, you know, the ones for the song. You know, the biggest legends on that stage was Aerosmith. And they fucked it up for them because they had this
think we're
Nelly and this NSYNC fuckers.
I think we're gonna turn this one off and do a part 2.
Okay, we'll do a part 2.
That'd be next weekend, probably.
Okay.
We can do more research into stuff.
But like I said, they should have had Run DMC come out with them on that one. On that,
Yeah.
that
It
would have
would've
been a
been
better
better.
show.
It would've
you
been a
know,
better show.
You know, and then maybe still
Yeah, I
had
don't know
Britney
who
there.
picks the halftime
You know,
shows
fuck
for
with
that,
In
but they're-
Suck. In Suck didn't last very long because they sucked. Well, you got, I mean, Backstreet Boys. What the fuck is a Backstreet Boy anyway? I mean, I'm sorry. It's just some of that shit music I couldn't stand because it didn't make sense to me.
I don't know. What is a Backstreet Boy?
I don't know.
A boy from the back streets.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
What's a back street?
But anyway, we.
cut it.
I
Cut it
think we
before
had.
I say
I
more
think we
and
had a
go
little
on.
bit of fun with this one. We went through a lot.
Cut it before
and
I keep
mentioned
going
a
on.
lot, and there's and there are a lot of them that we
You know, didn't
failed
mention
to mention,
Afro Man.
but we will try to give them mention in the next part of this. So we'll do part 2 here at some point. Just tonight was a fly by the seat of our pants type
Fly
of
by
thing.
the seat of your pants.
And here's the thing: we never
Did it hurt?
did say welcome to the Mark and
The
Joe show.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the Mark and Joe show. A little late.
Welcome to Mark and Joe show. Bye. See you
Only
later.
about 2 hours late. We've been going on for about 2.5 hours.
Pretty close.
All right.
Probably 2 hours.
Till next time. Oh, we didn't give it turn on the light.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
There we go.
Joe's toy
All right.
that he wants to play with. Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on.
New prop.
There's a blue thing there. Hey,
you can't do
wait,
that. You can't.
hang on.
You can't change it then.
Before you do.
We need we'll have that set up, the blue one set up for part 2.
No, I wanted to set the blue one on top of that and see if it turned purple.
No, it doesn't look right.
Whatever. You never let me have my fun.
Oh, so what? I bursted your bubble. Press your button and shut up.
Just take the road and follow the
And it is nowadays.
music ain't got the
Okay,
All right,
goodbye.
we're done. We'll see you guys next time.